The men came to watch a movie, but what happened next shocked everyone. A couple wearing MAGA hats were thrown out of a cinema by the manager, sparking a chain of events no one saw coming. By the end, the entire country was talking about it. Comments below, where are you watching from? And if you like and love our story, kindly subscribe our channel, life inspirational and motivational tales that explore themes of love, unity, and patriotism. Stay with us always for interesting stories. Thanks. Let's start the story. It was a crisp Friday evening, and the bustling cinema hall was alive with the sounds of excited chatter, the smell of buttery popcorn filling the air. The line for tickets snaked through the lobby as people eagerly waited to see the latest blockbuster. Among the crowd was a couple, Mark and Sarah Thompson, both in their mid-30s. Mark's red MAGA hat stood out amidst the sea of casual clothing, the bold text, "Make America Great Again," catching the light each time he adjusted it. Sarah wore a similar hat, her arm linked with Mark's as they talked quietly while waiting in line. The couple felt the occasional glance from strangers, some curious, others disapproving, but they were used to it. Their hats weren't just accessories, they were statements of their beliefs, reminders of their hopes for the country. They had grown accustomed to standing out and were unfazed by the attention. As they reached the counter, Mark purchased 2 tickets for the 7:30 screening of the new action film. They moved to the concession stand, where Sarah picked out a large soda and a bag of caramel popcorn, while Mark grabbed a box of candy. They were just settling into the buzz of the evening when a sharp voice cut through the air behind them. "Excuse me, sir," said the cinema manager, a tall man in a tailored suit with a name tag that read Eric. His tone was firm, and his expression carried a mix of authority and irritation. "Can I have a word with you?" Mark turned, surprised, while Sarah instinctively tightened her grip on his arm. "Sure," Mark replied, his voice calm but curious. Eric gestured for them to step aside, away from the bustling crowd. Once they were in a quieter corner of the lobby, he crossed his arms and frowned. "We've had some complaints about your hats," he said bluntly. "I'm going to have to ask you to remove them if you want to stay in the theater." Mark exchanged a bewildered glance with Sarah. "Complaints? About our hats? We're just here to watch a movie like everyone else." Eric sighed, his irritation growing. "Look, I don't make the rules. This is a private establishment, and we have the right to refuse service if something causes discomfort to other patrons. Your hats are making people uncomfortable." Sarah spoke up, her tone firm. "We're not causing a scene. We're not being disruptive. Why should we have to remove something that represents our beliefs?" Eric's jaw tightened. "I'm sorry, but if you don't comply, I'll have to ask you to leave." A small crowd had begun to gather, drawn by the tension. Whispers and murmurs rippled through the onlookers as they watched the confrontation unfold. Mark looked around, his face a mixture of frustration and disbelief. "We're paying customers," he said. "We have every right to be here." Eric didn't budge. "This isn't up for debate. Either take off the hats or leave." With a deep breath, Mark squared his shoulders. "If that's the way it is, we'll leave. But this isn't right, and you know it." He took Sarah's hand and the two of them walked out of the theater, their heads held high despite the humiliation. As the glass doors swung shut behind them, Eric returned to the counter, his expression one of exasperated triumph. The evening passed, the film played to a packed audience, and the incident was soon forgotten by most. But not by Mark and Sarah. The next morning, Mark sat at the kitchen table with his laptop, his fingers flying over the keyboard. "This is bigger than us," he said to Sarah, who was sitting across from him. "People need to know what happened. It's not about the hats, it's about our right to express ourselves without being treated like second-class citizens." He posted a detailed account of the incident on social media, describing the events objectively but with palpable emotion. Within hours, the post began gaining traction. Friends and followers shared it, adding their own thoughts and outrage. By evening, it had gone viral, with thousands of comments flooding in from people across the country. Some supported Mark and Sarah, praising their courage and condemning the theater's actions. Others debated the situation, raising questions about freedom of expression and private business rights. The story sparked a nationwide conversation, with hashtags like MAGA free speech and cinema controversy trending on multiple platforms. Among those who saw the post was the CEO of the cinema chain, a woman named Catherine Langston. Catherine was known for her no-nonsense leadership style and her commitment to fairness. When the incident reached her desk, she immediately scheduled a call with the theater's manager. "Eric," she said firmly, her voice carrying the weight of authority, "I've read the reports about what happened last night. I need to understand your reasoning behind asking paying customers to leave because of their hats." Eric stammered, trying to justify his actions, but Catherine wasn't convinced. "We pride ourselves on creating an inclusive environment," she said. "That means respecting everyone's right to express themselves, as long as they're not causing harm or disruption. You overstep." The following day, Catherine arrived at the theater unannounced. She personally reached out to Mark and Sarah, inviting them back for a meeting. They were hesitant at first, but agreed, hoping to find some resolution. When they met in the theater's lobby, Catherine greeted them warmly. "I want to start by apologizing," she said. "What happened to you was unacceptable. You shouldn't have been treated that way, and I'm here to make it right." She listened as Mark and Sarah shared their story, their frustration and hurt evident in their voices. Catherine acknowledged their feelings and assured them that steps would be taken to ensure such incidents wouldn't happen again. To demonstrate her sincerity, Catherine offered the couple complimentary tickets to any movie of their choice for a year. But more importantly, she announced a new company-wide policy. All staff would undergo training on respecting customers' rights and fostering an inclusive environment. The meeting ended with handshakes and a sense of closure. As Mark and Sarah left the theater, Sarah looked at Mark with a small smile. "I think we made a difference," she said. Mark nodded. "Not just for us, but for everyone who believes in standing up for what's right." The story didn't end there. News outlets picked up the incident, framing it as a story of resilience, accountability, and the power of standing up for one's principles. It inspired countless others to share their own experiences, sparking a broader conversation about the balance between personal expression and public comfort. In the end, the couple's quiet stand became a catalyst for change, proving that even the smallest actions can have a ripple effect when they come from a place of conviction and courage. What would you have done in their shoes? Have you ever faced judgment for standing by your beliefs? Share your thoughts and real-life experiences in the comments below. Let's start a conversation about respect, freedom, and the power of standing up for what's right. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more powerful stories that inspire change.